The nightmare for airports all across the U.S. drags on. We are approaching 1,000 delays and 1,000 cancellations today. This as the government shutdown reaches day 43. And Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy warns it could get even worse.
I'm going to tell you that in the information that I have, you have significant disruption where you may find airlines that stop flying. Full stop. And what we see with our air traffic controllers, good day today, if the House doesn't pass this bill, I think you're going to look at Saturday, Sunday, and Monday as tiddlywinks. It was beautiful. It's going to get much worse than that.
The air traffic controller shortage was a growing issue even before the shutdown. The FAA wasn't able to address the problems overwhelming airports this summer, by way of example. And all of this is costing a ton of money. The Congressional Budget Office, the CBO, estimates that $14 billion has been lost since the shutdown started. And here's Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent's response.
It's the Democrats tried to stop President Trump. They couldn't stop him in the courts. They couldn't stop him with the mainstream media. So they shut down the government. And they've taken the mask off. Ezra Klein in the New York Times yesterday actually said this was never about health care. This was about President Trump and his totalitarianism. So they were willing to cost the government tens of billions of dollars.
I think I recognize that man across from Scott Bessent, and it's the great Brian Kilmeade.
Treasury Secretary was with us this morning, and he said, you know what, it's costing us a ton of money, but we want to get back on track. Also, with the Secretary of Transportation came out and said, look, we're going to have delays. Even if it ends tonight, we're going to have delays all the way through the weekend. But he also went on to say that he thinks it's brilliant to give the air traffic controllers the $10,000 bonus. President, you know he can do this. He'll find the money to do it for those people that worked without pay. You don't make a ton of money anyway, sadly, through this entire time. I also talked to the head of the Air Traffic Controllers Union. They think they lost 20 just quit, said, I don't want to do this anymore. They also had people walk out of the academy going, really? I could study all this time and be done? Wow. And I thought Secretary of Transportation Duffy had a great point. He said, can we give them the option of not retiring at 56 and get them the option of staying in it through 62? Yeah. And I think that would help.
Yeah, how can you blame these controllers wanting to leave? Because they put up with the tomfoolery of Congress. And I would note the tomfoolery of Chuck Schumer. Leslie, this is Axios. And it says Schumer privately fought to extend the government shutdown. I brought this up yesterday. 2 weeks in, a group of moderate Democrats told Schumer they were ready to vote to open the government. Schumer persuaded the moderates to hold out until at least the beginning of November. In mid-October, he made clear he was going to come out against anyone who supported a bipartisan deal. Leslie, why did your party do it?
First of all, my party is not in power, and it's not just about votes. And people say
that line is such hogwash because there's something called the filibuster, and you need 60 votes. We don't have 60 Republicans.
I'm getting to that. I don't care about the number 60. I care about leadership. If my party is in power in the House and the Senate, my party leadership should sit down with the party that's a minority and negotiate and come up with a deal.
There was a clean CR you voted on 13 times previously.
That's what good leadership does. That's what the Republicans should have done and can still do. Now, it took me a day and a half, 4 flights, first 3 were canceled, 3 airlines, 5 terminals to get here from Los Angeles.
But you're not on food assistance. You're not one of the 42 million people on food assistance. And I respect your travel chaos. Yes, travel chaos. I get it. A lot of Americans are feeling it. We've been caught up in it. But that's different than having food insecurity, no food in your belly at night, and states and the federal government trying to figure out how to just stretch it a little bit to get you through to Thanksgiving. I mean, we're there now.
And now, if I can finish
and your side doesn't. No, but you've got to tell the facts that matter now.
I am trying.
Leslie, quickly, because we got to get to Emily.
Thank you. I appreciate it. My party is part of the insecurity. And if you look at the election and the exit polling that we had after the election, where my party swept it, and not just in blue states, but in red states like Mississippi,
you realize
and
we
Georgia,
were 2 weeks into the shutdown. People were already hungry.
Ohio. They are looking for a more affordable way for Americans. And that includes not just food, but that includes health care. And that's what they were fighting for.
Emily,
that is what my party was
the line, I love the line, Republicans control the government. Well, we control 52 votes. So if you say you control the government, what you're saying is that Republicans should have gotten rid of the filibuster. That's what you're saying.
Well, and I think it's massively disingenuous and has helped shape that incorrect narrative that did have an effect on the elections in that it was within Republican control. I just want to say a couple anecdotes because I find all of this such superficial and appalling conversations by Schumer and the like, making it political when, for example, yesterday I had the honor of spending Veterans Day with Secretary Collins at Arlington Cemetery for an incredibly sobering and solemn ceremony. And he reminded us that veterans are still being interred at Arlington during this time, and graves are still being dug, and members of the Veterans Affairs and Veterans Administrations are still showing up to work every day and working with those suicidal veterans and doing so much without getting paid. This is volunteer work while they are taking loans out from their TSP and their other government 401ks that they are then losing the interest on it with newborns at home and pregnant spouses and dual income government couples or single primary income government couples. I was part of a fundraiser this weekend for Shadow Warriors and the fallen community. And during the auction, a lot of the members of the federal government, the administrative that show up to work every day to protect and serve and put their lives on the line without pay, were joking that they wished up for auction were SNAP benefits.
Wow.
Because they had no money in the savings. And these are not irresponsible Americans.
Right.
These are fiscally responsible Americans that are putting their lives on the line up and down for us every day. To have politicians say it should have gone on longer and use them as pawns. And it is appalling, and they and we deserve so much better.
Amen.
And the pain we experience at airports pales in comparison to the pain in their stomachs and with their wallets right now.
And it was all for leverage. That's what the Democrats told us. They're on tape saying it, several of them.
Chris
leverage.
Coons.
Yeah,
Chris Coons.
Catherine Clark.
There you go.
Whip.
There you go. You got the names. All right.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Kane podcast for full episodes right now.